What was expected to be a routine, relatively calm, interview with News Nation's Katie Pavlich quickly turned into yet another example of why there is no such thing as an easy interview when it comes to Donald Trump. Trump interviews tend to fall into one of two categories. When the questioning is adversarial, he often becomes defensive, evasive, or combative. When the interview is friendly, however, the opposite happens. He becomes so relaxed and uninhibited that he drifts into strange, unfocused, and sometimes baffling commentary. This interview leaned firmly toward the second category. The premise was simple and reasonable. With 2026 underway and midterm elections approaching, the president was asked a straightforward question. What are your goals for this year? What legislation does he want Congress to pass, especially considering the possibility that Republicans could lose control of the House after the elections? In short, what is the agenda? Instead of outlining policy priorities, Trump focused on something else entirely. He talked about straws. Trump explained that he does not want paper straws. He criticized them for falling apart and said they melt in your mouth. He said he prefers plastic straws and wants regulations rolled back, so people are not forced to use paper ones. From there, the conversation shifted to water pressure. Trump complained about low water pressure in sinks, showers, and toilets. He described flushing toilets, repeatedly, 10 or even 15 times to make things go down. He said he doesn't want weak toilets and compared his ideal setup to industrial or hospital toilets, which flush powerfully and immediately. That, according to Trump, is the kind of issue he believes deserves attention. The interviewer then attempted to refocus the discussion on Congress. Looking back at the previous year, Republicans had control of both the House and Senate. Trump was in the White House, and significant legislation was passed. Now, in a midterm election year, the question was clear. What does Trump expect from Congress in 2026? What does he want to get done legislatively? Trump responded by praising his executive orders. He emphasized that he has signed so many executive orders and described them as great. While acknowledging that executive orders are not the same as laws passed by Congress, he framed them as common-sense solutions to everyday problems. Once again, he returned to water pressure. He described sinks where water barely flows, showers where you can stand underneath and still feel dry, and regulations that limited water output. He said he removed those restrictions and restored stronger water flow. He again mentioned straws, repeating that paper straws are no longer necessary. Trump described these issues as quality-of-life improvements. He said they matter to everyday Americans and stated that he would like Congress to formally confirm and approve these changes through legislation if possible. Meanwhile, major issues affecting millions of Americans went unaddressed. People across the country are struggling with the cost of health care. Housing prices remain out of reach for many families. Public safety is a growing concern in numerous communities. Parents worry about whether saving for college will actually result in an affordable education for their children. Despite these concerns, Trump maintained that things are already going extremely well. He claimed the economy is phenomenal. He said his administration has done a great job. He pointed to military strength, stating that the United States is recognized as having the strongest military in the world and crediting himself with rebuilding it both during his first term and again now. But experience has shown that repeating positive slogans does not necessarily convince people that their lived reality matches those claims. During President Biden's tenure, Americans repeatedly heard that the economy was strong, yet many did not feel that strength in their daily lives. The same challenge applies here. Trump was then asked about the difference between his first term and his current one. His answer was striking. He said that during his first term, he was the hunted. He referenced investigations, criticism from the media, and what he described as political attacks. He specifically mentioned fake news, fake politicians, and the Russia investigation, calling it the hoax of the century. Now Trump says the roles have reversed. He said he is the hunter. He described this shift as more pleasurable and suggested that the people opposing him are bad and sick. The language reflected a mindset focused less on governance and more on conflict and retribution. Another moment in the interview raised serious questions about awareness and preparedness. Trump was asked about Dennis Coyle, an American citizen who has been held hostage by the Taliban for nearly a year. His family has been publicly advocating for attention to the case, and the issue has been covered by multiple news outlets. Trump appeared unfamiliar with the name. He asked for information and said that if he were given the details, he would take care of it. He suggested he could use online tools to help resolve the situation, and joked about technological assistance. While Trump stated that his administration is working on freeing hostages globally, the exchange left the impression that he was not previously aware of this specific case. The interview continued with Trump discussing national defense. He spoke about plans to build what he called a golden dome over the United States. According to Trump, this dome would be capable of intercepting incoming missiles and knocking them out of the air like matchsticks. His description suggested a physical, dome-like structure over the country, echoing past instances where Trump appeared to misunderstand or oversimplify complex military technology. In the past, he had spoken as if stealth bombers were literally invisible to the naked eye, rather than simply difficult to detect by radar. The final major topic was the Insurrection Act. Trump was asked whether he still believes invoking the act might be necessary. The Insurrection Act allows a president to deploy federal forces domestically when state authorities cannot or will not enforce federal law. Trump said he does not think it is necessary yet, but he made it clear that he is open to using it. He emphasized that more than 40% of U.S. presidents have invoked the act during their terms, and argued that it is more common than critics suggest. He acknowledged that invoking the Insurrection Act would make governing easier. It would bypass courts and reduce the need for lengthy legal processes. He stated plainly that he would have no problem using it if he believed it was required. And that may be the most revealing part of the interview. Yes, it would make things easier for Trump, but it would also weaken checks and balances and raise serious concerns about the rule of law. Ease of authority for one person often comes at a cost for everyone else. Following the interview, President Trump departed for Switzerland, leaving behind an appearance that raised more questions than it answered about priorities, preparedness, and the direction of his presidency.